Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Talent Tap podcast. My name is Danny Lachmandas. I'm your host and founder of Grintalo. We help businesses generate consistent qualified client opportunities through an AI-powered growth engine. And with us today, we have Erik Charles, founder of Erik Charles Consulting. How you doing today, Erik?
I'm doing good, Danny. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. It's a pleasure to have you on. Where are you calling in from today?
Central Coast of California, which is the midpoint between LA and San Francisco, San Luis Obispo County, and recently moved down here with my wife and son, and we're loving it so far.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've never had the chance to make it out to Cali besides a layover in LA once, but really want to go there. Definitely gonna get out there in the next couple of years. My brother's wife used to live out there outside of LA, and I know he's been a few times and said it was a good time.
If there was one place in California you'd like to visit, where would it be?
San Francisco, I think, is I've heard good things about. San Diego too sounds pretty fun. I think I have a couple second cousins that grew up in LA and they came to my wedding and they've been trying to get me to come out there. So that might be the first place I end up just to see them. But yeah, I'm sure I'll make it out. I love traveling. I've traveled all over the US to be honest. I used to live in Colorado. I've been as far west as Vegas, but haven't made it out to California. But pretty much seen all of the East Coast and middle of America. Just about every single state I've been to out here.
Yeah, California's huge. I mean, it feels like going from NorCal to Southern California is a whole different experience, and you got to map out the time to do that. So, yeah,
Yeah, would
cool,
would
man.
love to make it a road trip. Should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, could you tell me a little bit about your background, kind of how you started out and how you got to where you are today and what you do today in Eric Charles Consulting?
Yeah, sure. I went to college in the Bay Area and played college football up there and started to lean into what I wanted to do for a living. I think fundamentally working in staffing and recruiting seemed appealing to me because of the simple concept of you're helping people land jobs. And just I often tell people that I work in the people business and I've always been a people person since I was a kid. So as I graduated, I was a marketing guy and I knew that I had my own ambition in sales and marketing. And so I started corporate and worked with one of the largest HR services companies in Ronstadt, which is a global
Huh?
provider. And I did that. And so I started in recruiting. I started recruiting for different Fortune 100 companies. My first ever hire was for Google. It was a UX researcher. I won't share her name, but we still keep in touch 15 years later, which is incredible. I think is a microcosm of why we do what we do. And 500 hires later, I had continued to climb the ladder and was really positioning myself with more of the client facing components of staffing and recruitment and selling IT solutions, managed project, managed service solutions. I started to sell into Cisco and build relationships there and was promoted a couple times leading the national partnership strategy with Cisco and did that for many years and had great success doing that. Was a top producer, was able to build a team around me and had a lot of fulfillment in doing that and leading and mentoring teams nationally. So I got a lot of my bearings there, my foundation there, which ultimately led me to kind of getting further away from some of the transactional components of what we do in a relatively saturated and noisy industry, that being recruiting. And so I set out to start Erik Charles Consulting, which is a bit more white glove by nature. And everything that I love doing from meeting companies where they're at as they begin to contemplate their hiring investments all the way to successfully hiring people. And so I've been doing that the last few years now. And what has emerged with that entrepreneurial endeavor is the coaching arm to our business, where I now get to work with technology leaders and helping kind of find themselves, their story, build their brand, and optimize that towards their own career trajectory plans. So between both is where I spend the majority of my time today, supporting companies from Fortune 100 to high growth startups and continuing to build venture capital relationships along the way.
Yeah, no, it's amazing that you started out low just working for a company and realized that you were good at what you're doing. And I commend you for going out on your own and starting your own business. It's a big leap that is hard to take, and a lot of challenges come with it. Not everyone is built to do something like that. They may be good working for someone else and be able to that corporate ladder very well, but it's a totally different game to start your own business and have to manage all that with the financial risk. And then strategy is a huge part of owning your own business. And like I said, not everyone is built for that for sure. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. AI is clearly a game changer in all businesses today, not just staffing and recruiting. What ways are you seeing AI tools and technologies directly influence how coaches and consultants operate and deliver value to their clients?
Yeah, I think every day is different, and I think other entrepreneurs would maybe relate to this. And what I mean by that is we're just in this we're in this season to me of trial and error experimentation of how to use AI as a co-pilot and not necessarily completely replace the human in the loop component
Mhm.
to what we do. I think if you were to remove everything and or even fast forward the clock where AI just takes over everything that we know and do, I think fundamentally we still need human connection. And that's a critical piece to what we do as talent leaders and partners and coaches alike. So every day I work with AI. I'm having a lot of fun and being able to kind of leverage my own creative right brain thinking, if you will, with the components of using AI to help me with organizational structure and building systems and back end systems to help with my go to market strategy to integrate with nurturing best practices alike. So I'm having a ton of fun learning some of the nuances that come with how to integrate AI and not diminish your own brand and your own tone behind what you do. I'm becoming a bigger fan of how we can use AI as lone wolf or solopreneurs in our field. And every day's every day is a little bit different right now. I'm happy to go deeper into to certain specific areas of how I'm using it, but I'm having a lot of fun these days.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I've talked to many different people in the staffing and recruiting industry and in different industries, and a common theme is AI is not definitely not able to fully replace the human element. And I agree that it shouldn't, especially in an industry like staffing and recruiting, that it's such a high touch industry that human element needs to still be there. I very much believe that. Maybe one day it'll change, but we're not there yet. What I found AI is doing is it's making things a lot more time efficient. Things can run more efficient. If you can delegate to AI that you necessarily don't have to do, then that gives you as a business owner to focus your time and energy on things that do need your time and energy, like business development, growing the business. If you can delegate those tasks, you can possibly grow your business even quicker by being able to focus your time on things that matter and not things that you can give an AI to do. I mean, obviously, time is the biggest commodity in life. So if AI can do those things, and you as a business owner can focus on things that really matter, like business development and really growing your business.
Yeah, I mean, time is everything. Even as a coach, oftentimes I'm very upfront with people that we invite AI into the conversations. If there's anything that AI could do to help us maximize someone's potential, for example, let's not be naive. Let's talk about how we can incorporate that. So yeah, there's so much right now. I place engineers for a living as a talent partner. And the other day, Danny, I built two fully equipped web interactive applications, which blew my mind because I'm dangerous enough with technology to translate into the people strategy, but never did I think there'd be a day when I could build a, visually appealing, user-friendly application that is within my brand, my philosophies and principles. And I did all that within a day. And so, yeah, I think oftentimes it's everyone wants to talk AI opinions. There's controversy on where's this all going to go. Look, it's here. It's not going anywhere. And I do feel that there is a balance of becoming overly reliant on AI. Cognitive offloading is a real thing versus knowing how to stay curious and intellectually sound with how you use AI to maximize your own value, to maximize your own output and to have fun with that. So yeah, I use it for a lot of operational improvements, a lot of back end systems integrations between multiple technologies that I'm using to build my brand awareness and lead generation. And I'm starting to see the fruits of that labor pay off and still get me in front of people, which I love doing most.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I mean, like I said, playing with AI, there are so many people in the world still that are extremely anti-AI. If you go in the comment section of, any social media platform on AI posts, you'll see, I mean, so many comments from people that are just super anti-AI.
Why do you think
And
that
it's
is?
people being scared of being replaced and losing their job. And I heard someone the other day say, I'm not scared of AI replacing my job. I'm scared of someone that knows how to use AI replacing my job. And I think that's where the world is heading. A lot of people are struggling to find jobs in today's world. And maybe they need to be cautious, but embrace AI because I think businesses going forward are looking to implement AI tools. They just don't really know how. So they're going to be looking to hire people that are trained on AI and trained on how to use it. And I think those are going to be some of the jobs that are emerging in the future. And it's like I said, everyone has access to AI now, from your 16-year-old kid to, your 80, 90-year-old person can have access to some kind of AI. But the people, especially in business, that are going to be the most successful with it are the ones that know how to use it. Because there's a big difference in having an AI tool and really knowing how to use it. How you use a tool makes a huge difference on the results you get from the tool. So I do think those are some of the jobs that are going to become emerging here in the near future. Businesses looking for people that know how to use it effectively.
Yeah, I contemplate the dynamics that we see these larger companies, FANG companies going through layoffs and now publicly stating the why behind that, which is good. I think it's I actually think it's healthy on a macro level to say, hey, look, agents are doing a good job. We've been watching the components of how agents are helping revenue generation and helping us save costs all in the same. And these companies that are going through layoffs, it's becoming now clear that AI is here to optimize many different components and different arms of businesses. But I also think for the job seeker, the candidate, the professionals out there, well, what is AI doing for yourself to kind of maximize your own efficiency and your output for companies? I had a really fun conversation with an executive of mine that's in one of my communities the other day. And I think we agreed to disagree. It was a really healthy conversation of like, well, now, if we know that companies are investing into AI and laying off people to save costs and increase performance, what are some of the high performing individuals doing to market themselves as the 10x version with how AI can bring value for not just themselves, but with AI to a given startup or given company? And we're just in this paradigm shift is what we're seeing right now. How that translates and transcends everything that we do within the recruiting space. Is here. And if you're not going to entertain that, I do believe fundamentally you're going to fall behind, and that's on you.
Yeah.
So,
And it goes to, for the vast majority. I mean, I think a large amount of people, and especially business owners, are becoming very aware of what AI is doing. But I guess for the masses, like we're talking about in the comments section of social media, it's the people that are scared of change. A lot of people in the world are scared of change and they're scared to go into something new. And I think it was the same thing with the internet in like the 90s. It was new and people were apprehensive about that. But now if you were to walk down the street today and people, do they have a smartphone? You would get 10 out of 10 people saying yes. And, they use the internet today. And I
for
think
sure.
it's going to be the same with AI. I think we're kind of in how, like I said, how it was in the 90s with the internet. We're kind of in that 90s phase with AI right now. There's no telling where we'll be in 10 or even 20 years from now, and what's happening in it with the landscape of the world. AI is supposed to be the biggest industry in history. And, before this, it was the internet, right? The internet and then smartphones and social media. So I think AI is possibly going to be the biggest thing in the history of mankind.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all the sci-fi movies we saw growing up come into life. That's what it feels
Definitely,
like.
definitely scary. I'm a big Terminator fan. I'm a big movie buff, and I think Terminator 2 is one of the best movies ever made. I love that movie.
It's hard to have a sequel that's actually better than the first, but that's one of the few. You could throw
Yeah.
Godfather in there. Maybe there's one more that I'm thinking of. Anyways, but yeah, on the AI front, absolutely. And it's unavoidable. If I were to be cautiously optimistic with the evolution of AI for all of us, no matter what line of work we're doing, hopefully it's an invitation for you to really kind of tune in on like, well, what do you love doing? What are you good at innately? What's your genius? And how are you spending more time investing into that thing? Because AI can maybe augment the other components that maybe are causing burnout or maybe that are considered growth areas for yourself and your line of work. And that's often where I'm really seeing a lot of meaningful, impactful conversations that are changing lives on the coaching front is we get lost in the monotony of material gain and oh no, I'm going to lose my job or I'm making so much money doing this or that. Trust me, we're in sales. Some of us, that's our number one motivator. Instead, well, let's invite our conversations around the lines of, I know what I'm good at. I know where I'm most reputable, where I have credibility and successes or achievements that can speak to that. But I also know my faults. I know some areas that, previously I would have had to pay thousands of dollars to build a full stack application. Now, my engineering friends out there, I know it's not nearly as intuitive. And if I had their guidance or help, it would be even more impactful. But the point of all this is I'm able to start doing things now that I never thought were even capable because of AI. And that's just a mindset shift. So there's definitely a psyche to all this and how we adopt that as professionals and just getting over ourselves if we have to do that, do it. Go out, fail and figure it out and learn because it's a great season to go do that right now and what we're experimenting with.
Yeah, and with AI, I mean, there's no excuse for not knowing something now. The knowledge is so quick. There's no excuse to not have knowledge because I mean, anything you want to know, you can know it literally instantly. And that really became true with Google and with the internet for the past 20, 25 years. If you wanted to Google anything and figure it out, I mean, it was right there at your fingertips. And so many people didn't use that at their disposal. But even more so now with AI and Chat GPT and Gemini, it's even quicker. Anyone has no excuse for not knowing things that they want to know. And it's making it much quicker for businesses to start up and to do things that would take hours or days, or you have to hire someone else to do. A solopreneur can do it themselves.
Do you still use Google independently for certain things? Like, so, hey, you just Google it, the concept of
Yeah.
doing that versus ChatGPT or Claude or any of these other tools out there. Is there something specific where you still lean Google versus ChatGPT?
Yeah, I still do. I'm kind of still doing both. I'm finding myself using Gemini or ChatGPT more than Google, but sometimes if I need to Google a specific address for a location or a restaurant or something like that, I'll typically go to Google first and use it that way. But I have found myself using ChatGPT a little bit more than Google these days, or Gemini, whichever you prefer. Gemini apparently is a lot better than ChatGPT from what I've heard. I think Apple is going to integrate Gemini over ChatGPT is what I've heard also. With I guess Siri not doing what they want it to do, they're going to bring on Gemini, which is very interesting considering it is a direct competitor to Apple.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, and I think sometimes my interaction, depending on what I'm trying to get out of a working session with AI, the information's a bit outdated. I have to challenge it every now and then, which is good. It's a healthy balance. Whereas if I have something very specific that I'm still trying to get an immediate result on, like I'll still use Google, and if
Yeah.
directions to a restaurant that I know I'm going to with my wife, right? Like, so yeah, it's a balance, and we're paying for credits if you have upgraded accounts, so I know that,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to keep those credits, whereas Google's there, it's
Yeah.
free.
Yeah. And you hear like, you know, SEO has been the big term for a long time, search engine optimization for websites, people just starting up, they want their website to show at the top. And now I've been seeing AEO, you know, AI
Mm,
engine optimization, where businesses will need to put their business into ChatGPT. So when people are searching in ChatGPT, their business shows up first in in that. And that's going to be a big thing going forward, how SEO is kind of becoming outdated and AEO wanting your business to be known in the AI space, since that's where people are more leaning to using. I think that's going to be a big thing going forward.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Are there any like tools, AI tools or applications specifically that you've been using that have become indispensable for your industry today? And how would you advise the businesses or clients to use them?
I would say slow down right now because there's an endless possibility or endless amount of tools that you can use. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes there's too much to be done. We have ongoing to-do lists, and my mind tends to think about how can I just optimize all of this. So I try to slow down and hone in on the tools that I currently do have. So right now I use GenSpark for a lot of deep research components. If I'm doing recruiting, I feel the amount of effort that would take to do really helpful market intelligence 4 or 5 years ago could be done much more efficiently now, which helps my clients. It helps the intention behind us doing a search with a targeted fashion. I think the components of just relying on LinkedIn Recruiter and doing the right Boolean search strings are slowly starting to diminish, considering the fact that a lot of individuals are also using AI to write their LinkedIn summary and their resumes and the keywords that align. I'm using company targeted specific search strategies where I leverage tools like GenSpark to help me refine who we should go after based off of market indicators and informational pieces out there that help us be way more refined and targeted, which honestly that translates to how our messaging should be, how to maintain a personal component to that message, but also be effective with why we're reaching out to someone at a given company. Maybe there's a trigger that could lead to layoffs, or maybe someone who's been there for 4 or 5 years and maybe looking for what's next. Deep research can help us really expand our horizons as recruiters and talent partners. I invite our clients into those conversations to be creative together on how we can go about positioning ourselves to recruit the best talent. So GenSpark's been really helpful for me. I still use ChatGPT. I use Claude for various components of content, marketing material, application development that integrates into both the recruiting and coaching part to my business as well. Similarly, with GenSpark and other tools, I use that for the executive coaching services that I do and kind of being more of the sports agent in that side of the business where we have to be very specific and kind of upskill or coach someone to be refined in their story and what they do, why they do it, where they're best positioned. So for benchmarking purposes and other components, which are proprietary right now, but probably not completely foreign, I use AI to support those endeavors as well.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So different ways that it can be used. I've never heard of GenSpark. I'll have to look into that. And I'm looking into using Claude right now. I haven't used it yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about the
Yeah.
Claude bots and everything that you can use for email. And think that looking into using that right now. My business Rentalo, what we offer is a cold email agent. It works extremely well. It sets up campaigns and it's able to pull lead list thousands of emails and send out these emails. And it's actually able to it knows your business knowledge and it replies for you and it handles objections and books meetings right into your calendar. You just show up to your meeting. So in the cold email space, I like what it's doing. It's helping a lot of people and helping myself. So
Yeah.
there's lots
No.
of different things.
Yeah.
What would you go ahead?
No, go ahead.
Beyond the AI tools, what would you say the impact on the mindset is required for success in consulting today? What mindset would people need to have with the way AI is changing the landscape to go forward and still be cautious?
What's the right mindset to have in this modern
Yeah,
era?
yeah,
For me personally, I set out to build my company not to become a 20, 30, 40, $50 million agency. I set out to optimize what I love doing, and that's serving people other than myself. Optimize my life as a new father and someone who's fortunate to have done what I've done successfully to afford the right to try to do this. So my mindset every day I'm a man of faith, so it starts with the concept of doing something that's greater than myself and doing something that if there's one person that I can impact or elevate their thinking or help them on their career trajectory by being objective and being able to be on their team after being on the employer side of the table for 15 years. It's a very fulfilling thing for me. As for the recruiting business, everything I do has been built around building trusted relationships. Danny, when I first started interacting with ChatGPT and I was building my brand, which I've changed about 4 times, I'm sure other entrepreneurs could relate, but I
Very
took
common.
years, yeah, I took years of testimonials, case studies, and was really trying to remove my own perspective and subjective viewpoint on here's why you should work with Erik Charles Consulting. I wanted to tell the stories of people that I have been fortunate to support. And the two words that came back after inputting all this information was trust and reliability. Now, I was expecting, technologically sound or innovative thinker and different words that could really help me differentiate in this technology driven market. But it came down to just being more human forward and came down to being someone who's centered on relational value, which translates into everything, in my opinion. So, when you bring all that down to why we do what we do, that actually has nothing to do with me. It has an opportunity to impact people in their lives and their line of work, and that's why I do this. So the mindset of that is every day we is different. Some days are challenging, some days are very fulfilling and rewarding being able to be your own boss. I can launch campaigns and adhere to my brand tone and give something before I ask for anything out there and still have time to, take an afternoon and spend that with my son. So to me, that's what life's all about. And that's why I do it.
And no, that is a great answer that I relate to. Just being in sales my whole multitude of different things from fireworks to liquor to, to just about anything. And I think the best part about sales for me is when impact more positively, when they leave and they're happy, they come back and say, I love what you did for me, or, I love those fireworks. It makes you feel good as a person that you've impacted someone. And that's one of the best things about being in business. You can have a positive impact on someone's life. It's a good feeling for yourself.
Yeah.
To close this out, what is the most exciting aspect of AI in the consulting industry that keeps you motivated and exploring new opportunities?
Watching it evolve to the point of being able to model my style of service, coaching, and customer interaction skills is pretty impressive. So I'm productizing components of my business without diminishing or getting away from my brand. And the interaction and the experimentation of that to me has been such a great invite and a bit of a playground. But I can already start to see that there will be ways to generate revenue, almost e-commerce if I could use that word, my business, but also not take away some of the components of direct interaction and what people still look for when they need a career coach or when they need a partner, a talent partner in all of this. So I'm just finding that rhythm right now of being able to give things or offer things that may be useful in meeting someone exactly where they're at in their career. And the same to be said on the talent advisory side, where if I'm running and conducting searches I just helped build out agentic AI engineering teams for 2 companies. Along that line, I learned so much compensation guides, screening methodologies and principles, what worked, what didn't work. I can use AI to monetize that and share that to my clientele. And so we're just at the beginning of all this, and I'm just excited to see where it can go to help with our revenue goals and our ambitions, but also do everything we do with intention and a relationship first approach.
Yeah. No, that's yeah, again, like you said, it's just the beginning. And when the more and more people will become comfortable with using AI and to businesses about it. I think any business that does approach it is moving in the right direction. And I think more and more people are becoming aware of that every single day, especially anyway. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure speaking to you. Enjoyed having you on, and drop your links in the description. Y'all check him on LinkedIn and whatever other links I drop in there for y'all. Just Yeah. Thanks,
Thanks for
everyone.
having me,
And thank
Denny.
you, Charles.
Yeah, thanks for having me.